The whole place.
That's so
The
sad.
whole area around here.
Look at that. It's so beat up.
I've never seen that.
These are brick houses.
Just ripped out from tornadoes.
At the 62nd General Conference in session, the Seventh-day Adventist Church presented $100,000 to the St. Louis mayor for the disaster that took place there just about a few weeks before the session came together.
Members from around the world at the Dome at America's Center this morning. Delegates from more than 200 countries are in St. Louis for this 10-day event.
I want to speak a little bit about this because I do have a video to share. There's a lot of opinion about this matter. Some people agree, some disagree, some are raising a voice of protest about that. Some are asking the question, if the church is going to give this amount of money to the St. Louis mayor, how come he hasn't taken care of his own people who has been crying out due to the disaster that happened during COVID and the pestilence 19 pandemic and some of the things that came with that, and people who lost their jobs and their families been wounded. So it's a whole lot of discussion. There is a protest about this, but I think we need to slow down just a little bit and reconsider the matter. First, let's go to Adventist Record to read what they have to say. Church present check for disaster relief to St. Louis mayor. When I heard the word check here, I said, this must be a typo, but it's not. It's the way you say it in British. Okay, so let's move on. It is the treasurer Dr. Paul Douglas, who went on to make the announcement. First, I want to say this. It's good to keep in mind that the Seventh-day Adventist Church has built somewhat of a good relationship with the St. Louis mayor, and even Elder Ted Wilson spoke about this in his Facebook post on May 13th. We made a final visit to the American Center, St. Louis Convention Center, for a final review of the facilities before the General Conference session begins in about 8 weeks. By God's grace, we will have a wonderful mission-focused session blessed by the Holy Spirit presence. Please pray for the session and the delegates. We invite you to attend. There is plenty of room in the stadium, as you can see. Remember, our session theme is Jesus is coming. I will go. If you would like more information about General Conference in session, visit gcsession.org. By the way, in case you are wondering, the City St. Louis rented the stadium for entire session to the General Conference for a total of $1. So, hey, praise the Lord. Some people said this probably is a sign that something else, some cahoots is going on. I don't know. But the fact they were able to get this stadium for a total of $1, praise God. And it was a beautiful stadium, okay? And I don't know if you've been inside of that place, it was massive. It was amazing. Now, let's look at this news clip here. This is Fox 2 St. Louis. Local news is speaking about this.
A global religious organization is supporting storm recovery in St. Louis. The Seventh-day Adventist Church presented Mayor Kara Spencer with a check for $100,000 during a gathering of the church members from around the world at the Dome at America's Center this morning. Delegates from more than 200 countries are in St. Louis for this 10-day event. Church leaders say the donation is to help families still recovering from the May 16th tornado that caused nearly $2 billion in damage. Mayor Spencer thanked the group for stepping up in this time of need and pledged to make sure that money is put to good use.
We are in the process of building that structure out, and we will not be spending any of these funds until we have a transparency, all those processes outlined, which should be coming in the coming days.
And you can make donations to the recovery effort as well as find resources at stlrecovers.com. You'll find a link on our website.
Okay, now the next video we're about to watch, we're going to see the president now, and Kohler, and also Dr. Paul Douglas, who is the treasurer. They're going to talk about this, and you're going to see more. By the way, we were present that day. We were not inside of the dome, but we were in the facility. We were checking out the exhibition hall. We were aware of this took place. So let's take a look, and I'm going to share some thoughts and some opinions on this matter.
In his work by Jennifer Poindexter, director of Meet St. Louis, they have worked tirelessly with General Conference session management and area vendors and services to make this highly successful event for both the church and the city. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce Her Honor Cara Spencer, Mayor of the City of St. Louis. Welcome her. Welcome. May God bless you.
Good morning. On behalf of the City of St. Louis, I would like to extend a warm welcome to the General Conference of the Seventh-day Adventist Church here in St. Louis. We hope you've had a successful conference so far and continue to enjoy a productive time in St. Louis. I'm pleased to welcome you this week, especially since your Impact St. Louis initiative offers your membership the opportunity to serve our city. I understand that young people participating in the conference will be engaging in hands-on community service projects, such as book distribution, park cleanup, and supporting local shelters. Thank you. This week, young people have had a series of fun and informative sessions designed exclusively for them. I hope they are enjoyable and productive. The Seventh-day Adventist Church's service to cities mirrors the work that many cities around the world are familiar with. Mayors and governments know that we cannot do the monumental and complex work required in today's city alone. It will take all of us working together. Your church has taken bold steps to address the needs of cities around the world, and you're doing your part. We are grateful. It has now been 52 days since the thousands of families in our city have begun rebuilding their homes and their communities after an EF3 tornado ripped through a major part of North St. Louis. This response to this disaster destroyed so many of our communities, but the response has been phenomenal. I witnessed firsthand despair and stress that accompanies daily uncertainty in our communities, but the solutions of working together have been so incredible.
I want to fast forward now to where Dr. Paul Douglas is going to talk about this and then presents the check. Okay, so let's take a listen.
Your Honor, Mayor Cara Spencer, when we heard the terrible news of the May 16 tornado that damaged the city of St. Louis, our hearts were heavy and burdened with pain and the suffering experienced by so many thousands of residents in your city. So collectively, church leaders concluded to do something about it. And this morning, on behalf of the General Conference and the World Church, led by President Ayrton Kohler, the North American division of our church, led by its president and a native of St. Louis, Pastor Alexander Bryant, and the Mid-America Union president within the territory where St. Louis resides, led by President Gary Thurber, we would like to present to you a check for $100,000 on behalf of the Seventh-day Adventist Church as a token of appreciation for you and this city and our hearts being touched by the pain that is being experienced here.
Well, you've seen that, you heard that. Quick facts. $100,000 being given. There was a relationship built with the city. There was an effort to work things out. Elder Ted Wilson, they say they got the center for less than $1. So the relationship that was built with the city, with so many people from different parts of the world, 200 different countries, well over 50,000 attendees. So which means the city also made money in that same process as well. So was this check a good move, yes or no? The answer, I would say, was yes. I'm going to explain to you why. I think even though we do have some issues regarding the way that the Seventh-day Adventist Church has behaved when it comes to COVID, and we've raised a voice of protest here, and we will continue to speak on the things that matter. When you actually look at the damage of what took place at St. Louis, you actually look at these urban areas and actually go physically and meet the people and watch the buildings, it might change your mind. And it did for me. So we're talking about a tornado that tracked more than 20 miles, which is about 32 kilometers. in the urban areas. So poor people live in these areas. Greater St. Louis, and this was not even just about 5-6 minutes away from the facility where the Adventist Church was. So here's the thing. We went for a drive and we got some images. And listen, I wasn't even thinking about this video. I was just driving with my wife and Justin and his wife, and we were in a car. We were like, Lord, this is terrible. This is terrible. And I'm going to share that video with you at the end of this. So quickly, I want to insert a few questions, right? Number one, should the General Conference of the Seventh Adventist Church have given money to the people who's been wounded and hurt because of COVID and the policies, or because of the immunization statement? Should they have done that? Well, I can say yes, but the difference with that comparison to what happened at St. Louis, it's not exactly the same. The tornado that took place there is very physical. The damage is current, and people are still suffering. It's right there. You can see it. The situation with COVID is slightly different, right? The suffering is harder to track that, and there was more to the story than just that. And also, another thing I will also say is, while the church should care of both the people without and those within, I'm all for that. But the argument has to be fair when we talk about this. For the families that I've spoken to and the people that we've interacted with who's been wounded by the outcome statement, by the immunization statement, you cannot use your religious liberty, right, to object government mandates, and people who lost their jobs. And we have family members who were impacted by this, okay? And even church members were impacted by this. What I have heard from them, it has nothing to do with money. And friends, you can check up on me when it comes to this. I have spoken to so many families members and people who watch this channel and got in touch with me. They're not worrying about money. They're actually looking for a reconciliation. They're looking for an apology. Money is not the main discussion. So I don't think these families are begging and say, church, give me money for what happened then. They're saying, can you acknowledge our pain? Can you sympathize with us? Can we reconcile? Can you offer an apology? Can you tell us you're not going to do this again? They're looking for that assurance. They're looking for that sympathy. They're looking for love. They're looking for understanding. They're not looking for money. So I want to make that abundantly clear. And this is what I've heard. And this is not to say this is the case for every single one of them, but the ones that I've interacted with, reconciliation and peace and coming together and forgiveness is their goal. Okay, so I think that's one thing to keep in mind. But guilt tripping the General Conference for what happened during COVID is also not fair, right? It's also not fair. Even though that statement was there, people still had a choice in the matter. We still had a choice. Even though the conference says this, we could have said, I'm not going to go with it. The fact we went with it, even though the pressure was on for people to go with it, right? And the church did not help. I agree with that. Well, we still had to make a decision. I had the same choice, and that shows otherwise. Some of you who did not go along with the mandate, you made a decision, right? So people who made a different decision, we should sympathize with them. We should minister to their pain. We should say the church should be held accountable for this. I agree. But should the church be guilt tripping in paying money to these families? I will say no. Reasons for that is because the General Conference of the Seventh Adventist Church has never admitted, right? The health department has never admitted. Paul has never made any admission saying we are guilty for this. So I think it's kind of like apple and oranges comparison. And if we're going to make this comparison, we have to be fair with the argument. So I will say, yes, it was a good move. When you see the video I'm going to share with you now as we end the video, I'm going to end it with this 5 minutes video. You will see the pain and the suffering and the buildings and the site. We were shocked. We were shocked. We were like, whoa. And it's crazy. We were driving into a storm too that same day. So, but at the same time, I think the needs of these, the members of the church who has suffered under COVID has to be met. I'm not sure if money is the solution, ultimately. I think taking down those statements, offer an apology, making sure religious liberty is protected next time, dealing with these issues are the main thing. And there is some good news. We had some videos where they say they're going to review a special committee where the GC says the steering committee is going to review the immunization statements and take into consideration the thoughts of the people. That's one good thing. Not good enough, but it's good, right? So thank God for that. Let me share this video with you so you have an idea of what happened at St. Louis. And then you answer in a comment. Do you agree with my assessment? Was it a good idea that the church should not have helped the people in St. Louis unless they have first helped Seventh-day Adventists who were wounded and hurt by the vaccine statement? Or was this a good move? I want to hear your thoughts. You can agree and disagree with me. Let's have the conversation below. Check out this video.
It didn't name it. It was just a series
The
of
whole place.
That's so
the
sad.
whole area around here.
Look at that. It's so beat up.
I've never seen that.
These are brick houses.
Just ripped out from tornadoes.
Tornadoes. Wow.
Like bricks missing.
Look at
And
that.
this is not even what we saw. Look over there.
This isn't what we saw.
Oh man, that's tough. That is terrible.
Yeah. Look over there. The roof.
Busted windows.
Look at that. This was tornadoes.
Yeah.
There is a big academy.
It's completely changed. Gigantic high school.
Yeah. Wow. It really went through the town. It really went through the town.
I've never seen it this widespread.
So they had a tornado here that really.
The devastation is.
This is still Missouri, right? Correct.
Yes.
Just roofs ripped off.
St. Louis.
Over there. See that? They're trying to
Yeah.
restore down there.
And these houses were already beat
Look
up.
over here. Look over there.
Trees.
That's rough. How many lives were there a number? But I know the one in Texas has a couple people who died.
Texas is up to like 36.
Oh, that's terrible. Oh, wow.
They're having to demolish stuff too on top of this.
Because it's a safety reason.
Yeah.
They gotta come down. Oh, look at the trees. Man.
I wish we went by that academy.
It went that far out?
Is that not it down there?
And if you look up there, the sky looks angry. Look at this. This is. Wow.
Like their whole roof is shot.
Over there.
Oh man, look at that.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, that's a church?
So that was, must have already been abandoned.
Yeah. There's a lot of abandoned.
Abandoned, but on top of that, then the storm knocked down more windows.
Wow. What's up with people's houses with pictures on them? I need to look at the history. Like a mural? But it's like right on their house. I've never seen that. It's all on their houses. Unless these were
I would
abandoned.
love to interview the people that live here.
Yeah, unless these are abandoned houses that are being used for that. I'm sure we can Google it. So I know why. But it looks like a lot of these houses have people don't live in them.
Yeah.
But you haven't actually seen the worst. Wherever we drove to get.
From the.
Yeah, it was much worse.
Going far.
This was actually not too bad.
It's pretty sad. Devastation. It's like right here, the houses are different. People tell this is a more upscale neighborhood.
DJ, is it off the stick? Is it off the stick? Okay, we've got to put that back on. Just DJ?
This looks like it wasn't as bad. It's a packet as bad.
I need some windows. Can't see out my window.
Yeah. Got some hair gel on that thing. Is that what it was?
You're welcome.
Wow.
You're welcome.
It's okay to lose the house if you keep your life, you know.
Yeah.
You buy another house.
Yeah, I wish you
stricken neighborhoods.
Yes.
It's
That is
very
primarily
obvious.
black.
Yeah, primarily. It seems to be that way too. The neighborhoods where of horror tend to get hit harder by the storms. You notice that?
So we're driving into a storm. Yeah.
Feels like it. Alright, well, this was a sightseeing, friends.
Welcome to West End.
Keep these people in your prayer. Welcome
CJ.
to the West End. West End neighbors. A lot of beautiful people are here inside.